Okay, so this is the second video as I was processing my fear of survival. So another thing that I want to say is it's really important that you know what your fear means to you. So like I shared in the last video, like what does survival mean to me? Like as far as experiencing survival in this particular lifetime. Survival is survival, but it's really important to know what it means to you. And so in this particular lifetime experience, it was more the abandonment piece. That was also, it was like a dual experience. It was fascinating, extremely unexpected, like cannot make it up. It's not like I have an abandonment wound. I don't say I have. I have had. It has been something that has been part of my journey. And it's not so much like the fear of rejection, it's the fear of abandonment. It's like what comes with rejection. So everyone there, I feel like there's like steps in fears and everyone's is different. And it's just like what I shared in the last video, like I don't have a fear of failure. It's a fear of defeat. It's all the failures that lead to defeat. So with abandonment, it's all the rejections that ultimately lead to that feeling of abandonment, like just being abandoned. And but survival was also wrapped up in this as well. So this particular experience happened in my infrared sauna. And now I use my sauna every single day, and I don't always have these experiences every time. In fact, whenever I do, I don't always know that it's coming. And so I haven't actually, well, no, that's not true. But, and you guys, this happens like, it's like in the middle of the day. Like I usually go to the sauna around like 11. And I don't go in there with the intention of accessing another lifetime. Or even I mean, every day my intention is actually different, but I do always have an intention. And I'm usually in there for about an hour. It's about 50 minutes, sometimes an hour. And so in this particular one, I don't remember exactly kind of how it all started, but again, it was the fear of survival and then the abandonment was there as well. And so I'm sitting there and I'm open to whatever the processing is going to look like. It's not always accessing other lifetimes. Sometimes it's just feeling through like what's the worst case scenario that I can think of in this lifetime right now and letting myself feel what that would feel like. Which is also, I will say, another really easy way to access another lifetime. So, and I discovered that later, which I'll share that in another video. So I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I see a baby in like a nook of a tree. And then I'm the baby. So I see the baby first and then I'm the baby. This is newbornish, like maybe a couple weeks old, if that. And I'm suddenly conscious to this experience. And I'm crying. I'm doing the only thing that I can do in survival, which is make a noise. I can't walk. I can't roll over. I was a newborn. And I knew it. I knew that I only had one mechanism of survival, which was my voice. And so I cried and cried and cried. And then I suddenly came to this piece of knowing that no one was coming for me. And accepting it. And then with the music that I was listening to, so another thing that I include in the S Access is a playlist. This is a very divine playlist. I've been working on it. Currently now it's January 21st, 2025. So depending on when you're listening to this, but the process of putting this playlist together was very divine. It was very thought out, very intuitive. And I have this one app that I listen to usually when I'm in the sauna where I've pulled a lot of the songs from. And I've curated like a perfect playlist. So that's included in the S Access. And it's not about it being your style of music. Most of these songs have no words. But it's about really just like silencing the mind, the ego, and like getting into this grounded space. And it just kind of carries you wherever you need to go. And it's going to be unique to you wherever you go and whatever you experience. And so all of a sudden, after I'd like, because I wasn't crying anymore, it was like I was kind of dozing off to sleep, but conscious, like awake. The song that came on had birds in it, like very subtle, kind of chirping. And then I saw all the trees above me, because I was like laying down. It was this weird tree that had this like nook, and I'll explain where this came from even too, or the connection even with it. And I saw the trees, and I saw the wind moving through the trees, and I saw the birds flying. And I knew that I was safe. I knew that I wasn't alone. And in this moment, when I heard the birds and saw the trees, I mean, tears were flooding down my face, and I was like, oh my God, this is why I'm so connected to nature. Because I did die. In that lifetime, no one came for me. And I experienced that level of abandonment, of complete helplessness, being left outside, anything, weather, animals, whatever, right? But instead I was like held by a tree. You can't make it up. And I wasn't alone. So it was this other piece of the energy of creation, God in his creation, source experiencing itself as a tree, experiencing itself as the wind, experiencing itself as the birds. I got to experience that level of connection. I mean, it was powerful. And I've always felt this, but then with this lifetime experience, I understood where it was coming from. I can be in the woods and I am not alone. And I've felt this for a long time. Animals talk to me. Like, I know that sounds crazy. Not all animals, specific animals do. And so, yeah, so I did get to experience like a death, I guess you could say, but it didn't feel like that. Because there was this feeling of, I know what's happening and it's okay. And I know I'm not alone. So, yeah, that was and what's crazy is when I kind of came out of it, I was like, oh my God, you can't make that up. There's this show on Stars. It's on Netflix too, but it's a Stars series or whatever. It's called Outlander. It's a time travel story. Incredible story. It comes from a book series by Diana Gabaldon. And I've only read one of the books, but I've watched the whole series up until currently. And that exact thing happened in one of those episodes. I think it was season 1 actually. That exact thing happened, and I didn't even think of it until hours later, because I kind of saw this flash of that particular episode, and then I was like, oh my God. So I feel very, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I don't care. Since I first saw Outlander, this was years ago when it kind of first came out. I think maybe the first season had been out. I've always I feel very connected to certain pieces of that show. Like there's certain pieces of that show that like just make sense to me. Like I'm like, this isn't just a story. Like this is real. Like I've felt that truth resonation with it, not knowing, a lot really up until now. And now I watch the show so differently. Oh, like what's going on in the current season 7 right now. Oh my God. But anyways, so I want to complete with that. And yeah, thanks for listening.